Hello and welcome to Hollister School District Teacher Education 2-Day Seminar. I will be leading the seminar and I will be training U.S. teachers and educators and school staff how to incorporate EdTech tools in the classroom. My name is Rachel Ratliff. So an overview of these EdTech tools that we're talking about, the first one I want to mention is the Promethean board. Now this board replaces the whiteboard that you see behind me. The Promethean board offers some wonderful features because it enhances the teaching experience. Now this board has a camera that's programmed so you can, and it's usually next to the Promethean board, but this camera is programmed to display whatever you put underneath it. So you can program the board in the classroom and you can show a worksheet. The students can have their worksheet in front of them at their desk, and you as the teacher can put the same worksheet underneath the camera and it displays on the board. Following along with you, the children can work at their desk as you teach with the board displaying the worksheet. So it's really big for the students to see and it keeps them engaged. I've used this with math worksheets displayed on the board and the students are working at their desk. I can teach and explain the problem. With each Promethean board comes a special pen, so you can use this pen to write so the students are following along with you as the teacher is going through step by step how to do the math problem. And then, if I make a mistake, the Promethean board has an eraser and so I can just erase it. So the students are seeing me work through the math problem at the same time that they're working on their desk. And as the students are doing it, they're following along with me and I'm highlighting on the Promethean board. I'm underlining with my pen. I'm circling words, key words, and the students are putting it all together. So they're following along with me, but I'm using it as a reading exercise. You can use it for anything. So Google related tools I'm talking about Chromebooks, I'm talking about Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Classroom, and Google Sites. So everything Google related can be used as an EdTech tool in the classroom. The students are using their Chromebooks every day in the classroom. They're interacting, they're using it for writing, they're using it for math, they're using it for reading. So their Chromebooks are something that they use every day and then they take these Chromebooks home. I find the Chromebooks are helpful for even younger grades to use. So all students should be using them, but they're definitely helpful because technology is fast growing and it's a part of everyday life. Chromebooks and Google Classroom together can be a wonderful way to keep everything in one place for your students, and you can still incorporate writing with a pen and paper into your lessons because we don't want to lose out on those important aspects of every student needs to learn how to read and write by hand. But pairing it with what they're learning on the Chromebook and being able to research and type their papers, that's just another important part of learning how to do academics in this world that we live in today. So Google Classroom is another great way to communicate with the whole class. The students can make comments, they can communicate through Google Classroom, they can communicate with you as the teacher, there's chats, they can communicate with each other. It's great because it encourages the students to become involved. And then Google Docs is another important part of the digital tools that we're talking about because the students can keep all of their ideas and notes on Google Docs. They can create outlines, they can write their essay, all their notes and ideas are stationed there, and it's just another writing tool for them to practice on. And then Google Slides, I love Google Slides. They're a great way to teach your students how to make a presentation. So let's say you have a 4th and 5th grade class and you assign them an essay project, and it might take them weeks to work on. They're researching, they're learning how to outline, they're learning how to write a 5-paragraph essay with proper sentence structure, and then you have them bring it all together, and the end of their assignment is for them to take the key ideas from their essay and put it onto Google Slides and present it to the whole class. Okay, let's talk about Bluecat. It's great because it makes learning fun. And I don't know of any teacher that says, you know what, I really want to make my teaching boring for the students. No, we all want to make learning fun for our students because if it's fun, they're going to remember what they're learning and it's going to make an impact on them. So Bluecat is wonderful because it's an app that's fun for the students from kinder all the way to high school. You as the teacher, you can design this tool as a game for your students based on what you want them to know and understand and take away from the lesson. You can have questions from the library app, or you can, as the teacher, design questions yourself. You can make sure the students are learning and using this app to track their progress and how much they're retaining from what you're teaching them. Now, again, let's talk about another tool that I really love to use is Canva. This app works to fit your individual students and allows them to show learning in a creative way. So this app will encourage their imagination and organization. You as the teacher, you can design the lesson plans using Canva. They can design a project, an outline, a rubric, a presentation, infograph, the list goes on and on. Canva is wonderful for all sorts of things. Now, adopting teacher-usable edtech tools for training purposes, this is you as the teacher now getting tools that you're going to present and you're going to use to teach your class. Now, online training is also offered. You can, through YouTube videos, you can get training on the Promethean board and Canva. In-person group training can be done in groups. Teacher-led classroom training, so that's where you go to the classroom and you work alongside the teacher who's using the presentation tool, and you're learning how to use it right along with the teacher as the teacher is teaching you. Just being in the classroom with the kids, it's a great way to learn how to use these tools. Now, teacher designed programs to fit student learning. These would be seen in apps such as Blueget, Google Classroom, because they're designed to teach kids. They have scores, they have games that the kids play, and it just keeps track of everything. For you as the teacher, you're able to see what the kids are learning. And then as an assessment tool, you can assess where each student's at, so they can take quizzes and tests, but it's in a game form, so they're having fun. Now, adopting student-usable edtech tools, these are ones that the students are going to use. So the students aren't necessarily using the Promethean board that we talked about, but the students are using a lot of the Google things that we mentioned. EdTech tools to improve engagement in classroom learning. They're not meant to replace teachers, okay? So these tools that we're mentioning, we're not getting rid of teachers. We're talking about a blended classroom that these tools then pair with the teacher's in-person teaching, because that's important. We can't lose out on in-person teaching. Hi, welcome back for day 2 of our seminar. The benefits of incorporating EdTech tools. Today we're going to be talking about the purpose of EdTech tools, in which I mentioned earlier, or yesterday we talked about how they promote learning. So these tools are made to make learning fun and to support you as the teacher, because they're designed to help the students remember what they're learning. They combine visual with audio and hands-on activities, so that students are they're going to soak up everything you're teaching them. Next, they encourage collaboration. We talked about this yesterday, but just along the lines of the student communication and the student-teacher communication, getting the students comfortable working together and using these EdTech tools to help support them in that. The next thing that we're going to talk about today is how to assess the potential digital tools. So this is you as the teacher picking what's right for my classroom. When looking at digital classroom tools, it's important to look for online tools that support student learning in a healthy way. And then alignment with the EEE framework. So this is, do these EdTech tools engage in learning goals, enhance their learning goals, and extend their learning goals? They should benefit the students in this way. Another question we ask is, are they supported by the ISTE standards? Do these EdTech tools empower the students to be active in their learning goals? Do they recognize the importance of being good digital citizens? Do they encourage the students to construct their knowledge in a creative way? Do they allow the students to design and solve problems? Do they encourage students to develop and design strategies for understanding? Do they encourage students to communicate and express themselves in a creative way? Do they encourage students to collaborate in an effective way with others? And then the last thing that we want to look at is, do these tools use UDL principles? So the UDL principles are tools. Hey, do they keep the student engaged in their learning and involve others in their engagement? We don't want the students to just isolate alone with these tools. We want them to be a part of what the class is doing. And then the last thing we want to look at as we close out this seminar is the financial impact. So the cost of EdTech tools for the school. Now, the Promethean boards are expensive, and the schools would need to budget or fundraise for these. Some schools I've been to, they have Promethean boards in every single classroom, including TK and Kinder. Other schools, they are only able to put the Promethean boards in the older grades. So that's something that you want to look at the budget for the school. If they saw the academic need for it, I think that they would really get on board with it. The other programs like the Google digital tools that I mentioned, those are free for the school. Canva is free for the basic program, but some schools may decide to purchase the premium plan for the classroom, so the students have more access to more powerful digital tools. And then the cost of these EdTech tools for the families. All of the EdTech tools that I mentioned are free for parents, and they're provided by the schools. So the parents and families shouldn't have to pay anything. And the Chromebooks are usually provided by the schools as well. So they should come with the necessary programs already filtered in and set up for the students, installed, and easy access for the students to get on board. All right, so now we're gonna end our seminar with, again, a station discovery where you're gonna visit the last 2 of the stations that you didn't visit yesterday. You're gonna get hands-on learning experiences with the tools that we mentioned, so you guys can all get familiar with how to use these digital tools. And then we're gonna come back together as we end our seminar for a question and answer, where me and my team get to answer questions that you may have about how to use these tools in the classroom, how to get these tools, and how to make it better for you as a teacher. So I'll see you in a little bit.